Hey everybody, in today's video I wanted to talk about bionanogenomics, or Bngo. We do have a recent publication or recent news here that just came out as of this upload, the 18th, and we're going to look at that, and I've also got some things to show you on the chart. We have a long-standing resistance to look out for. I've got a couple other indicators to watch, and some levels to be aware of. So let's look at this news, let's look at the chart. If you don't mind hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, definitely appreciate your support, and check out the links down below. Let's get into this. Now, as for this news, I'm just going to go over a couple portions of it, but it will be down below for you, so you can go over the whole thing. And Bionano announces publication of interim readout from clinical trial run by consortium analyzing optical genome mapping as a potential standard of care, or SOC. Keep in mind that SOC means standard of care for prenatal testing. And this was an ongoing study that evaluated 200 samples representing 123 unique prenatal cases across 9 sites for interim measures of key endpoints. And I'll show you the 9 sites in a second here. But the main points of this is that results of OGM, or optical genome mapping, which is what Bionano's product does, the analysis was comparable in a single assay to the results of 2 separate standard of care tests, SOC, needed to reach a diagnosis in 56% of cases, 69 out of the 123, and to 3 separate SOC tests needed to reach a diagnosis in 19%. And concordance with SOC, 200 out of the 200 samples. They also had concordance with SOC for variance, which was 100%, 78 out of 78 variants. Now, reproducibility of analytical QC, I'm guessing this is quality control, from site to site is 100%, 83 out of 83. And reproducibility of variant calls from site to site was 100% as well. I'll leave on the screen here the sites that conducted the study. I'm not going to read over them, but you can see them right here. You can go ahead and pause the screen if you'd like, or of course you can look down below at the link and read it all yourself. And going back up here, I just wanted to it gives you a little better clarity here. Bionano announced the publication of an interim report from an ongoing clinical trial designed to support establishing OGM, optical genome mapping, as part of standard of care, or SOC, in diagnosis of genetic disease for prenatal subjects. This publication reports on the prenatal genetic disease clinical trial program to evaluate OGM as an alternative to SOC workflows. And this prenatal study focuses on comparing OGM to SOC, including concordance, reproducibility, technical success rates, turnaround time, diagnostic yield, and health economics. The first interim readout is designed to evaluate endpoints connected to analytical performance in key areas of technical performance and reproducibility of OGM. Now, we've got some words from Al-Kachabi, which is the Chief Medical Officer at Bionano. The process of establishing a consortium like this one to conduct a multi-site trial program is made possible by capable principal investigators and leading sites. We believe the trial is off to a terrific start, with a total of 414 subjects enrolled to date, and with an interim readout of 123 subjects and 200 sample runs that show OGM performing very well. We look forward to the investigators proceeding with the remaining samples and evaluating other critical endpoints like comparative diagnostic yields, turnaround times, and health economic impacts. Towards the bottom here, we have the key takeaways. This publication concluded that these results demonstrate high technical performance of the OGM workflow from DNA isolation through data analysis. The authors reported that replicate run performance demonstrates reproducibility of OGM, suggesting that it can be adapted and validated because of the concordance. The fact that this can fall in line with other analysis, essentially. Now, the authors further point out that OGM is not limited to structural variants, or SVs, and copy number variation analysis alone, but can also resolve repeat expansions greater than 500 BP. Now, to be honest, I am not completely sure what that means. The authors also cited OGM's ability to run an additional analysis pipeline for the screening of individuals with an expanded allele in the FMR1 gene that could be causative of Fragile X syndrome. Screening for this repeat expansion is currently performed as a separate standard of care test. The authors concluded that a single approach like OGM can allow genetic laboratories to provide rapid results with a cost-effective solution. Now let's see some words from the CEO, Eric Holmlin. Development and validation of OGM assays for prenatal analysis is an area where we believe our technology can have tremendous global impact. The performance we have seen matches our expectations. We are extremely happy with this publication demonstrating OGM's performance across multiple sites and its potential ability to perform in a single assay, which requires 2 to 3 technologies in the standard of care tests. in practice today to reach a conclusive answer. He basically said that Bionano's OGM, optical genome mapping device, can give you an answer on the genetic material analyzed in an easier way, whereas normally you need 2 to 3 technologies in these standard of care tests, whereas with OGM, you only need the single. And then he finishes with, "I'm eager to see the outcome for all trial subjects across the remaining endpoints. We are thrilled with the author's recommendations for inclusion of OGM in the SOC testing in prenatal genetic analysis, and these studies can provide important supporting data." And I'll leave this link down below for you guys, but this is the actual publication. I'm on Bionano's Investor Relations News tab, but this is the official publication here. So I'll leave that below for you as well. Now, that was definitely a lot of confusing stuff there, a lot of big words, a lot of things that sometimes I don't even understand, so don't feel bad if you don't understand some of it. But I think the main point here is that in this use case, OGM came in concordance or in agreement, similar findings basically, with traditional analysis. And also, Bionano's OGM is more accurate and more economic. But I wanted to continue into the chart and show you a couple things there. And I'm also going to go over the market cycles and my thoughts on where Bionano is at. So first off, I have an important resistance point for you, or I should say resistance level. I did want to show you this descending resistance that started here in March 2021. And it's been continuing down it. It has not broken out. I personally think if earnings comes out very good, very surprising, that it can break out of this. I'm not sure if it'll break out of it until then. So keep in mind the earnings is in March. We might find resistance here in the low 2s and bounce back under it. So keep an eye on it. We could of course break out of it, and that would be a great sign to see. And honestly, it kind of does depend on the overall market. But one thing that I want to show you guys that's really interesting is Bionano has not created a new low since May 11. And as some of you know, I've been preaching that May 11 was like a max fear day. It was a total capitulation day, and there's a lot of stocks that haven't broken that May 11 low, and Bionano is actually one of them. I believe Workhorse is another. I think Indie Semiconductors is another, maybe ChargePoint. But you know, there's a lot of small caps that this May 11, sorry, I'm not on May 11, but this May 11, I'll move these out of the way for you so you can actually see. This May 11 low of roughly $1.17, $1.20 has not been broken yet. And one thing to think about is we're 3 to 4 months away from this being a year point that it hasn't broken its low. This stock, in my opinion, has been in a long accumulation phase. And in just 1 second, I'll go over that. But one thing that I find very encouraging here with Bionano is you'll see that the cross is coming, the 50 to 200 cross. And we've got a little positive direction here. You'll see this red line, which is the 50 MA, is curling upwards, which is typically a good sign. And last time it curled upwards, we had that cross right here, and it continued all the way up to $4 from right around $1.70. Now, this indicator isn't always 100% accurate. You definitely want to use other things. I mean, look here, we saw a huge tick in volume. That's definitely another great sign. So keep an eye on this and just see if we start getting a push of volume, and we can have definitely a breakout of this resistance point. And I wanted to go over, you know, since in my eyes this has been a long-term accumulation phase, since even longer than May 11, since I'd say probably back in February. So we're just about 1 year mark of Bionano in an accumulation phase, in my opinion. Now I'll take a picture of this and put it on my Discord. I'll leave this article down below as well, but this basically goes into market cycles. And you have 4 phases, right? You have the accumulation phase, which is basically the sideways action. It's when the market decides that, you know, the bottom is in. Once the market's bottomed out, you know, we're going to just continue to add our shares. The innovators and early adopters begin to buy, figuring that the worst is over. What comes afterwards? Well, this is the mark up phase. This is when the market has been stable for a while and moves higher in price. Very important. This is the next phase for Bngo, in my honest opinion. I could be wrong, but I personally am pretty confident in this. Next up, the distribution phase, which is when sellers begin to dominate as the stock reaches its peak. We have been far past that distribution phase, and we, in my opinion, pretty obvious, we're in that accumulation phase. And then, you know, we got that last phase, the downtrend, when, you know, the downtrend is just tumbling hard right before that accumulation phase where it begins going sideways. So this is the typical market cycles. You get the push up, you get the sideways action when the sellers begin to kind of take over, and then you get that downtrend, then the accumulation phase. I honestly think we're in the accumulation phase for Bngo, and I think looking back, if you were to add through these times, we'll be glad we did. But I'm not a financial advisor, obviously. I just give you guys my opinion. I try to tell you guys the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. But let me know how you guys feel about Bngo. Are we in an accumulation phase, or do you think we have more pain ahead? I'm always curious about your thoughts. But thanks as always, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate your support as always, and take it easy.